this one, knowing that you got the Kentucky series right behind it? With the
Well, in our game, good question, an important one, but in our sport, I should say, you have to play the next game first. You know, you can't worry about what you got beyond that, and it's important for us to go over to Hoover and play really well. We need to do that for not only the record, but for our confidence. We need to play well tomorrow night.
On the pitching, you're going to break it up kind of a couple innings at a time?
As much as I can. Yeah, we'll see several guys pitch tomorrow. And then have Thursday off, and we'll have everybody ready for Friday.
Do you know who will start it?
No, but I will this afternoon, and Pipes will get it to you. Yeah.
What's it going to be like for you heading back to Lexington? I don't know how many times you've been back up there since you left, but what's that feelings been like, you know, playing against a lot of your former guys that you recruited?
Well, we played against them last year, so we've had the initial meeting there, and it'll be good, But really, it's just to be really honest, it's about winning the baseball game, And you'll see some friends and good relationships up there, and it'd be nice to see some of those people, that's for sure. And proud of what some of the kids have done that we recruited when I was there. But it's I've already gone through that part of life. Having been at Kentucky and going back to Gainesville and done those. And so I think I've been coaching long enough to you maintain those relationships. The relationships you have with those people are really important, whether it's players, administrators, bosses, co-workers, colleagues, coaches of other sports. Those things are all intact, and they're good, and they're valuable, and they're precious. But you got to go win baseball games. So it'll be like that. It'll be about winning baseball games. Yeah.
Hey Gary, how important do you feel like the additions of JP and Zach have been for bridging the gap, I guess, from those guys?
Well, I think those guys are getting better, and I think it's pretty obvious as you watch. They got used to maybe some new roles for them. I think they got used to a little bit different level of competition on the weekends. They're both at good schools, but our league is our league. And once you get past week 2, it gets ratcheted up pretty good in our league in terms of the margin of error gets decreased. The skills and the concentration keep getting better, and those guys are doing a great job for us. And so to have the 2 older guys that you can count on, they're not the only 2 we have, but to have those 2 guys has been really important for us, and it's been really it's been fun to watch them get better.
When you were working with them in the fall, what are some of the things you could do to kind of help guys transition to an immediate 1-year, gotta produce now kind of role?
Well, that part's not a lot different than working with anybody or getting a junior college kid in. The thing that's different is these guys have got a history of success, a reservoir that they can tap into of a lot of success prior to being here. And JP had pitched midweek games against people in our league, and so he knew some of that, and I think Zach had as well. But the first thing you do is evaluate what their skill level is, and see where you think you can address some things and help them get better, soon. And then the next thing is find out where their mental game is and their ability to get to a point of concentration, a focal point. Do they know how to play the game of pitch at a time? Are they willing to play the game of pitch at a time? And start to address, some of the things that you might notice in terms of their pre-pitch plan, their inner dialogue, how they address the mental part, how they handle failure. Typically an older guy handles success just fine, but the failure piece, sometimes you can address things with kids and help them have an honest evaluation of where they are when things don't go their way. And if you can access that conversation, then you got a chance to help them.
JP in particular has been able to log you a lot of quality innings out of the bullpen, 3-4 innings at a time. Why not just make him the Sunday guy?
Well, good question, and certainly you think about that stuff, Will, all the time. What I would like to do is have as strong a bullpen as we possibly can, and that's my motivation. Are you willing to try different things at times? Absolutely. Did I feel pretty good after watching him get the first 6 guys out on Sunday, thinking that he might be able to ride this thing out? I sure did, and I liked it. It's just a way of going about it, and as a guy that determines who pitches when, what you can't do is put yourself in a position to lose the game in the first 3 or 4 innings. You know, I think we all understand that, and that's why JV came in the second inning. I felt like the game was kind of on the line in a way, knowing that we had scored 7 runs in the 8th on Friday night. I mean, that doesn't, you know, that part doesn't escape you, but you also know that that's not easy to do. You know, throwing crooked numbers up in the 8th and 9th inning in our league is a tough thing because sometimes you're seeing a pretty good arm. You know, but we were able to do that. So it's the balance of how confident do you want your club to be based upon who's coming in, you know, and you covered us last year, right? You know, how did you think our club responded when we brought Spencer Price in? You enjoyed watching that, right? Sure you did. We all did. It was a great feeling and all that. And so you're trying to create that type of a feeling when you go to the pen bringing guys in. And sometimes that's a lot easier to say than do. But right now, with as good as JP is pitching out of the pen, I'm reluctant to change that role. I like having that feeling of him being down there. We used him twice on the weekend, you know, and you can't always do that. But if you can keep that first one under 30 pitches or at 30 pitches and you give him a day off, then you got a chance to go Friday, Sunday with guys. And if they're effective, boy, it's a huge shot. Doesn't guarantee a win, but it gives you a shot. And so that's kind of my thoughts there. The other thing I think is those 2 guys that we threw at the front of the game on Sunday, you know, they haven't been as consistent as we'd like, but they've been good for us. Yeah, they have. You know, and you try to stay away from moments in our game where it's a coin flip who you're getting, whether you're talking about can the guy pick up a ball and turn a double play, can he give us a quality at bat, or can he get somebody out in the bottom of the strike zone. You know, you'd like to know what you're going to get, and so we can improve in that area clearly, you know, with our Sunday starting pitching. But those 2 guys have pitched well enough for us that I'm comfortable running them back out there. I don't know, you know, I can't guarantee that you're going to get the guy that you want all the time. Nobody can in our league. You guys saw what happened last Friday night in our league. There was good starting pitching all over the place that had rough goes. And whether that's week 8 or whether that's finals week and a little fatigue, you know, I don't know, and I don't think any of the coaches do. If we do, we'd hit it off of the front of it, and it wouldn't happen. The other thing, and I know I'm getting long-winded on that question, but the other thing that I think about is those guys are good enough to pitch successfully for us, and we need them to do so. My job is to help them.
Your years in Kentucky, you used to take a lot of pitchers up there, both your own and others in there, and seen a lot of good pitches leave that yard. It's a very offensive, you know, friendly place. I mean, how do you coach your pitchers to handle a place like that? It's just that they're going to get hit at some point.
Well, I think the determining factor in how you talk to the pitchers always comes back to we're going to be positive, and if you can start with positive, then you can get to aggressive, you know. And you just have to have a real conversation. You got to keep the ball down, you know, and you can't get sloppy up and away to a right-handed hitter there the way you can in some ballparks. You know, we play at certain ballparks or in certain weather conditions where up and away is just not going to leave the yard. You know, that's the way it is, and that's just not the case in Lexington. You have to keep the ball down. You got to be able to utilize both sides of the plate. You know, and once again, then you go back to the absolute basics. Get ahead, stay down, both sides, secondary, change speeds, attack. And if you can do those things, a lot easier said than done at times. You guys watched this weekend, but that's where you go, and that part doesn't change. You know, so those will be the things that we talk about.
What's been your impression of working with Jake Ocho this year?
My impression of Jake, I wasn't expecting that. Well, Jake is a extremely good baseball person and an even better person, a better human being. Honest, hardworking, team player, great attitude, upbeat, positive. I've enjoyed it.
Sorry to put you on the spot with that, but just
Yeah.
you've had a lot of younger hitters perform better throughout the course of the season. I was just trying to get a gauge on just what his role has been in that development.
Substantial. Yeah. He's our hitting coach. He's in charge of the stroke, and Coach Brown helps out a lot in that area as well. But Jake has done a tremendous job, and it'd be hard to say anything else. And in fact, you'd be disingenuous if you offered it otherwise. I mean, he's done a great job. It's pretty clear if you're watching us play baseball that we're getting better offensively. And there's other parts of the game that we're getting better at as well. And within that, even though you continue to get better, that doesn't mean that every game or every weekend is another step up, man. Sometimes there's a plateau or, you know, hopefully a a shallow valley in there somewhere. But Jake has done a good job, and I think we've got other, as you mentioned with Zach and JP. I mean, we've got some other parts of the team that are getting better as well. But certainly our offense is one of them.